Ooh.
Wow, William, is it coffee time?
It is coffee time, and it's also garden time. Welcome to Garden Time, and thanks a lot, Gabe.
We're at Antonio's House of Coffee at Drake 7Ds on Shoals Ferry Road, right across from the Portland Golf Club.
In fact, later on in the show, we're going to be taking our coffee and wandering around this amazing little garden center and showing you some great plants they have here.
Also coming up in the show today, it's berry season, and we're going to give you a recipe to make jam.
But coming up first, some beautiful lilies. So I am standing out close to Forest Grove, and we're in what really is a Christmas tree farm, but then there's some changes that happened a few years ago. I'm here with Ken, who is the owner. And Ken, how did you make a leap from Christmas trees to lilies?
Well, I started mainly as a hobby and to promote the tree farm, and it's always been my passion, and it just grew and grew and developed into what we are now.
So it's really worked well for you, because at this time of year, you actually now, not only do you have an amazing display garden of so many varieties, but you also sell them, don't you?
Yes, we do.
So what is it that you think really makes lilies look like the ones you have here? Because these are stunning.
Well, a lot of TLC. I do a lot of virus control, throw away the dead ones.
And what does that mean? I mean, how do you know it has a virus?
There's not very many here, but what they do is they develop a spotting on the leaf. They're like a brown spot. That's a virus that they get infected with.
And so you just throw those
them away.
Yeah, there's no hope
cure
for them.
No cure, no.
And what about, I mean, these clearly are in full sun.
Yes.
So they like that.
They actually do better in afternoon shade.
Really?
Yeah. Early or morning sun to afternoon shade is where they really shine.
And what are some, because I see a lot of lilies here, but there's so many different types of lilies, not only in varieties. You don't just carry Oriental lilies, you have several.
Yeah, there's actually 9 different classifications, and we carry every one but one. And there's fragrant, non-fragrant, tall, short, medium height. And
so when people talk to you about lilies, what are some of the big questions that you hear over and over again?
Well, the biggest question, I'm not making fun of anybody, but the biggest question is, what do I do after, or when the bloom is spent, or how far do I cut it back for my bouquet? And it's pretty elementary. They're just like roses. The farther down you go, the more sugar you develop in the bulbs, so you get bigger bulbs.
Oh, okay.
Or you can cut them short and leave them for more bulblets that come out of the plant.
So like that one's done blooming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going down pretty far.
Yeah, well, we cut them off down here because we want to develop the bulb size for sales, internet sales, and next year. But most of the time I tell people cut them about 4 inches, about like that, and then discard the spent bloom.
And then you would just leave that to photosynthesize, get energy in the bulb for the next year.
And build more bulblets.
Yeah, interesting. Now, you also decided to have a lily festival.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we got overstocked. You know how Google develops their algorithms, and they change every year, every couple of years. And I had like 8,000, 10,000 bulbs to sell, and I was on generic page 1, and they changed their algorithm, so my organic page ranking slipped down. And I didn't know what to do.
You thought, let's have a festival.
Yeah, so I said, well, let's try a festival.
So what's happening at this festival besides beautiful lilies?
It's exploding.
Cool.
The business is really good, and people love the lilies that we have and see that they're well taken care of.
And so many varieties. My goodness, there's a lot. So when they come out to this festival, which goes through the first week weekend of August?
It starts the second weekend of July to the first weekend of August.
And so it's not just lilies. There's other things happening here, though.
Yeah, we have a really nice barbecue and free wine tasting from Schaefer Vineyards.
Nice.
Which is about 3 miles from
And
here.
I have to say, a view that will knock your socks off. An absolutely beautiful view out here.
Yeah.
So you also, people can come in, actually buy lilies that are growing or order for the future.
That's correct.
Nice.
For planting next spring.
Well, it really is worth a trip. It's a beautiful setting. They're fun people, and you can get some lilies that'll beautify your own home and garden. For more information, you can always go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to the website. Ken, really a pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Portland Nursery, and I'd like to invite you to check out our website where you'll find valuable gardening information that you know is local to our area. Check out our Gardening Solutions page where you'll find over 100 helpful brochures, or sign up for our email newsletter to receive timely gardening advice, inventory updates, and upcoming classes and events. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, on 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
If you build it right. Build it to last. Don't just build it for yourself. Build it for the next generation. Build it with Parr Lumber. And keep building the Great Northwest.
Parr's Design Center showroom is now open in Aloha. It's the perfect one-stop solution for homeowners, builders, or remodelers. Come on in. Our door is open on 185th Avenue in Aloha.
Judy,
Yep.
Do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page.
Summertime. And the outdoor living is easy with the help of Farmington Gardens, where you'll find the endless colors of summer for outdoor living. Our glorious annuals, perennials, trees, and shrubs will fill your garden with some of the most beautiful locally grown plants around. The vitality of summer is blooming now. Farmington Gardens, open every day, just a short drive out Farmington Road in Aloha. Farmington Gardens, we're growing for you.
So Judy and I did take our coffee and wander around Drake 7Ds on Shoals Ferry Road, and we found some great plants that are going to give you amazing color for the rest of the summer. Let's start right out with this wonderful little variegated thing down here. This is a Heliopsis. Now it is a perennial, and it will completely die back to the ground each year, but then it comes up with this amazing variegated leaf, which really pops on its own, and then it blooms with these bright yellow daisy-like blooms. The great thing about Heliopsis is it really just goes on and on once it starts blooming. Now, you do want to have some decent drainage for it, and it will take a lot of sun, but because of the lightness of the leaves, you might want to give it some late afternoon shade at least.
Well, you might have another variegated shrub that I found. This is called Caryopteris, or bluebeard, and I love this foliage. And then as a bonus, later in the midsummer to late summer, you get these bright blue flowers that are just gorgeous. Now this is a deciduous shrub, meaning it's going to lose its leaves, and then it's going to get about 2 foot tall by about 2 foot wide. But what a great accent in a border.
Yeah, yes indeed. And right in front of it are caladiums. Now, you know, in the more tropical climates of the States, these can be planted outside and they're beautiful and they just go and go and go, and they're full shade plants. But you can also grow them here in Oregon. They do great in containers. You can buy the bulbs in the spring, and I love them in containers because then you can use them in a patio, and they just keep on going and going and going. They do like consistent moisture, so you don't ever want to let them go dry, and you'll know immediately if the amount of sun that hits it is too much because they burn very, very quickly. But for the color that they give in the leaf alone, well worth the effort.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And look how it is paired with this beautiful hydrangea called Everlasting Revolution. Now this is a tiny one. It's only going to get up to 2 foot tall, and it's such beautiful flowers. They're a little smaller than like the traditional hydrangeas that we know, but I love it that the flowers are ever changing. They'll come out one color, and as they mature, you get all this different kind of pigments in it. So there's pink and white and green. Now this is going to take full sun to a little bit of shade in the afternoon. If you do have it in more sun, make sure that it stays moist. So you want to make sure you give it good deep water and mulch it so it retains the moisture.
Yeah. You know, and one of my favorite plants, Judy, is gardenias. They're such a great plant. They're beautiful. And because of the work that's been done on them, a lot of them can actually survive in the Pacific Northwest now. This one is Gardenia Summer Snow, and you can see by the size of the blooms that they're just massive. The fragrance is absolutely delightful. It's an evergreen shrub. Now, the thing with gardenias is they really, really want superb drainage. So you have to make sure wherever you plant it that it has that. They will also take an awfully lot of sun. Now, on this, if it really, really gets hot, like 95 degrees, you might want to give them afternoon shade. But generally, they're very easy plants to have. They're easy to prune, and once they start blooming, I mean, you can see all over here.
Look at all
Look
those
at the
buds.
size of these buds, and they're covered. So they're going to be blooming for a really, really long time. And then once that opens, you've got the fragrance of gardenias. It's delightful.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. I love having it on the deck right where I'm sitting in the
Yes,
evening. It's
yeah.
just gorgeous. And then here's this agapanthus, which I think that this is one of the coolest plants because you have this great foliage. This one's going to get about 2 foot with the foliage, but then you get these dark indigo flowers, and it's actually called indigo blue. And it's a round flower with lots of little florets in it. It's a big ball of color that comes up outside of over the foliage.
Yeah.
Just love it. Full sun, good drainage. Keep it a little bit moist during the summertime. Again, you want to mulch it to keep in that moisture. And once the flowers go, you still have this cool foliage. It looks like a grass. It gives you some motion in the border. Just a really nice plant for your summer garden.
So we found all of this stuff out here at Drake 7Ds, and it really is fun because it's not a huge nursery, but they're constantly changing stuff, so they have fresh stuff all the time. For more information, you can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website.
I'm at Little Baja on Burnside, and I'm with Wayne. And Wayne, you guys are container experts. So this is the middle of summer. So what kind of tips do you have for us about watering our containers?
Well, one of the things that concerns us the most here at Little Baja is that people, our customers, your viewers, won't give enough water to their trees that are in containers. And containers, trees in containers themselves, need at least 1 to 2 gallons of water every single day, especially in this heat wave we're having, because they don't have any other water source than what we give them. They can't get water from the ground.
And does it matter what kind of tree? Maple, conifer?
Well, the evergreens are a little less sensitive to not getting watered every day. They're not going to immediately shrivel up on you. But you take a sensitive tree like a maple here, ones with the nice delicate leaves, and just one day in 100-degree weather without water, and it'll shrivel up on you, and it'll be dry the rest of the summer.
And what about containers? Terracotta versus concrete glazed?
Well, it makes a little difference, except for the fact that the terracotta is breathes more and tends to dry out faster than concrete or your Asian pottery, and so it's important to make sure that they get watered, especially that as well, them too, and that they have good drainage, because when you give them a couple of gallons a day, you want to make sure that water runs through the bottom and it doesn't flood and stay in the roots.
Well, that's a great tip. So if you have any other questions, please come out to Little Baja. Thanks so much, Wayne.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Based on reviews, I found Capital. It was an excellent experience. I felt very comfortable, especially being a single woman.
Explore more this summer in the 2015 Subaru Forester 2.5i CVT, just $21,990. Lease only $190 per month plus 2 years complimentary service.
When I hear stories from other people about car buying experiences, they're horror stories. And mine, I just left with a big smile, and I've been smiling ever since. I got it my way on the Parkway.
In the summer months, water use can double or triple due to outdoor watering. Here are 3 simple tips to help save water and money this summer. Set your sprinklers so that they're watering your lawn and plants and not the pavement. Water early in the morning or later in the evening when temperatures are cooler. Group plants with similar water, shade, and sun needs together. For more water conservation information and tips, check out the Regional Water Providers Consortium at www.conserveh2o.org.
Save big now. The refrigeration sale at Standard TV and Appliance.
Huge price cuts on top brands. Refrigerators as low as $389. Freezers as low as $199. Get a stainless steel Samsung French door, only $1249. Save big on an Amana bottom mount refrigerator, black or white, only $809. And save up to 25% on display and open box Pro Style refrigerators.
Hundreds in stock, ready for fast delivery. Hurry, the refrigeration sale ends soon. Standard TV and Appliance.
Coffee, nature, and peace of mind. A new way to envision outdoor spaces. A new way to shop. Visit Drake's 7Ds, Portland's only outdoor living showroom on Shoals Ferry Road.
So it is that time of the month where we offer the tips for the gardener, and we're here with Jan McNeil. And so Jan, what is it that we should be thinking about now?
Why something isn't necessarily doing very well. I mean, this is supposed to be a hot summer where a lot of plants should thrive.
Should have just exploded.
With enough water. And so
It's
sometimes
true.
you think it's not enough water, it's not enough fertilizer. Last year we talked about the fact that I had put the tailings from making cider, all the peels and the seeds and stuff in these raised beds.
The apple cider.
I'll just compost it. Well, then I had this nightmare of apple seedlings.
I remember that.
Well, now this is the third year, and finally I've got the acidity where it's supposed to be back with some lime and things like that. But I planted potatoes in February, and they should be up and still going now, but they're done. They were done early.
Really?
So I dug the last of the potatoes yesterday.
Well, would that be because of heat, you thought then?
Well,
maybe?
that's what I thought, or lack of water or whatever. But when I went to dig up the potatoes,
Oh my.
here's the roots from the little seedlings from the apples.
Oh my. So they were just taking all the water,
Everything,
oxygen,
all
nutrition?
the nutrients, everything. We did have potatoes,
Yeah.
but nothing like what you should
Not
have.
what you should have had with that if this
no,
wasn't involved.
No.
So really, sometimes you don't know until you do a little
What's
digging.
underneath,
Yeah.
right. It could be a mole run, it could be a mouse run, where you'd fertilize or you'd water, and then everything would run right down the run and wouldn't even get to the
wouldn't
roots.
spread out to
Yeah.
the soil. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then what about a lot of people, I think, not only do they think of water as the only problem, but they think fertilizer. But you have some information about fertilizing hanging baskets and raised beds.
Right. Well, if you if things aren't doing well, if they're not blooming or if they're not greening up or whatever, they look like they need something, you need to fertilize. You need to make sure that if you're growing a leafy vegetable, that you have more nitrogen in your numbers, like NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus.
Yeah.
So like lettuce would take more nitrogen than something that would bloom that you'd get fruit from. And then with the baskets, you just need to water your containers, your baskets first, get them wet, and then fertilize so that the fertilizer stays in it and doesn't run out the bottom because it's dry.
Yeah, because if you're watering a couple times a day in
Right.
hot heat, you're
Right.
just going to wash that stuff out. It makes
Right,
perfect
right.
sense.
The other thing we talked about was people that hang their laundry outside.
Yes.
That if you, you might want to, just like we talked about shaking out the bouquet of flowers, you might want to shake out the laundry a little bit in case you've got some unwanted vagabonds
and
coming
that's
in
true.
the house.
The producer of the show, actually, they had some laundry out, brought it in, and there was a stink bug
Oh yeah.
in a
Yeah,
sleeve that
well,
had just
they'll-
made himself at home.
Sure, of
So,
course, of course. So
yeah,
there's
so just a quick shake.
just be observant, see what's going on, see what happens with other people's gardens, what the exposures are, whether you need fertilizer or not, and
And what
chalk
about
it up.
planting for fall? There's a tip for that, isn't
There
there?
is. Actually, I've got it written down, so it's better for me to do this. There's a whole list on the OSU website of things like arugula, beans, broccoli, carrots, etc. Things that fall you could plant in the fall. But what you do is figure out when your last frost date is, and then back up to how many days it takes for these to mature.
Oh,
Like, so from,
okay.
let's say our last frost date is October 31st,
Yeah.
and it takes 30 days, you just back up to September or to even July now, and you've got maybe 2 batches of 30 days where you could get in a couple of
There you go.
of,
So it just gives you
batches.
some guidelines on how
Right.
to plant
to
that
back
stuff.
up. But
All
I
right.
realize that in the state, any day can be a frost day in some areas of Oregon. So I mean, the formula may not work everywhere, but
it's a guideline.
Right.
Well, there you have it. There's our tips for this month. You can get out there, keep working in the garden, and we'll hopefully even have more great produce with just in a few weeks.
I hope so.
Not farm to table, yard to table. A new way to envision outdoor spaces. A new way to shop. Visit Drake's 7Ds, Portland's only outdoor living showroom on Shoals Ferry Road.
Nestled in the oaks of the Willamette Valley is a nursery that is truly exceptional. At Out in the Garden Nursery, you will find a vast array of shade plants, ornamental grasses, and hardy perennials.
Enjoy food, wine, and great music with the Ray Gordon Band under the oaks at our annual Wine and Cheese event.
We offer over 100 types of perennials. Plus, we offer the best in personal attention. Out in the Garden Nursery, where we grow great gardens one plant at a time.
Judy,
Yep.
do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page. I have a yummy recipe today. I'm at Smithberry Barn with Joelle, and Joelle, we have just a little bit of a different kind of recipe. What is it?
We are making jam today, freezer jam, using honey and a special pectin that we sell here at Smithberry Barn, the Pomona's Universal Pectin.
Oh, how is it different?
So it is a citrus-based pectin. It's all natural, and what it does is allows you to use either no sugar or less sugar. It allows you to use sugar substitutes, and like today we're going to be using honey.
Nice, nice. And with everybody having different dietary needs, it's nice that everyone can have jam.
Exactly.
So also about the berries. So we're using blackberries, but can we use other kind of varieties? You have so many here.
We sure can. So today we're mixing a couple of different kinds of blackberries. These are fresh from the farm this morning.
Nice. So Joelle, how many different varieties of blackberries do you have here at the farm?
We grow about, I have to count, I would say about 6 varieties of blackberries. We have raspberries and strawberries and blueberries all throughout the year. So you can pick something and make jam all season long from about mid-June to into August.
And it's okay to mix them, which is really cool.
Exactly. And so the nice thing about the Pomona's Pectin is that it makes small batches of jam.
Nice.
So today we're using only 4 cups of berries, which is approximately, if you were to come out and buy them in this form, you would have about 2 pints is all that you need for a batch of jam. So you can get creative with the different kinds that you mix together. You can try small batches and test out your different, preferences for sugar and honey and different substitutes. So we right now have 4 cups of berries in this. We're going to be adding some lemon juice.
All right. Seems like an easy recipe. And do you want me to start mashing?
You may start mashing while I get the honey prepared.
All right.
We are going to use a cup of honey.
And I like my jam nice and chunky, so you can do it as much as your family likes, or you like. How much mashing?
Exactly.
Okay, and put that in. All right. And I do like that you can really use different kind of sweeteners. That's really interesting with this pectin.
And that seems like a lot of honey, which the idea with this pectin is that you could err on the side of caution, use a little bit less, and then you taste it when you get to the point of, after you've added the pectin in, right before you're ready to pour it off into your jars, taste it, see if you like it, and then you can add a little bit more.
All right. Okay, so I'm doing all the work here. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be making the pectin mixture, which is boiling water. We have 3/4 cup of boiling water. We're putting it in our mini food processor.
Because it has to be blended.
Exactly. And then we need 3 teaspoons of the pectin.
And that's the package that it comes in the box, correct?
Exactly, yes.
So Joelle, how long does it have to blend?
This blends for about 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to finish mashing, and that's going to finish blending, and we'll be right back. So is that about 2 minutes?
That has just about been 2 minutes.
All right.
So the first thing that we're going to do is pour the pectin.
Okay, so it's the hot pectin blended right into the berries.
You can see how thick that is. That's one step in the thickening process.
Okay. And so will this be just like cooked? Is it going to be the same kind of consistency?
It'll be a little bit, I would say a little less firm than a cooked jam.
All
The
right.
next step will be to add the calcium water,
All right.
which this is the ingredient that is special and unique to the Pomona's pectin. This is a packet of white powder, calcium powder, that we mixed with water. And this is what's going to help the sugar and the pectin gel. So you don't, this is why you don't need the sugar, because this is what causes the gelling to happen. So what you'll do is you'll test your gelling as you add the pectin and decide as you go if you need more or less of the pectin or the, I'm sorry, the calcium water.
Well, what do you think?
I think it looks pretty good. I think we should probably taste it.
Okay. And on the calcium water, you can actually keep that in the fridge if you want to make another batch. It stays.
Exactly. Here's some
All right.
for you.
Oh, thank you.
So the calcium water you put in your fridge, and then the batch, the Pomona's pectin will make 2 to 4 batches of jam depending on how much of the pectin you end up using. So you'll save your calcium water, you'll save your packet of pectin, and then later, or later that day, the next day, a month from now, you can make more jam from other fruits.
Right. That's really tasty.
It's really good.
And it looks like a nice consistency.
I would like to add one more.
Okay, well, you are the expert.
That's very flavorful.
Good berries. All right, and then we're ready to put it in the jars?
Exactly. So we're doing freezer jam, but we are still going to be putting them into jars.
Okay.
And we will just make sure we leave enough head space.
All right. And just like regular jam, you want to clean these, sterilize them, boil the lids and the rings.
You need to leave enough room at the top for expansion as it freezes.
All right.
And then they'll last for about a year in your freezer.
Wow. Yeah, that is nice. Okay. And the one thing that's different than regular jam is you don't have to worry about the seal because it's going in the freezer.
Exactly.
So that's kind of nice. If you ever had it fail, it's so disappointing when the other kind of jam fails.
And the nice thing about this pectin as well is you may make the jam, and if you don't like the consistency, even after, packaging it up, you can take it out and do it again and reseal it. That's more for if you're making a cooked version where you can't tell the consistency right away.
Right, right. Well, you can get all of these things out at Smith Berry Barn. You can get the pectin mix, you can get the berries, which are the most important thing, and talk to staff and really go home and make some freezer jam. It's really easy and so delicious for your family. Thanks. You always have the greatest recipes.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching today, and if you have a chance, you have to come down to Drake 7Ds and have a coffee at Antonio's House of Coffee. And don't forget to take your coffee out and stroll the garden center. It's just looking beautiful.
We also wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who joined us on our first summer bus tour, and to remind you that next year, June 16th, will be our Ireland tour. For more information on that, you can always go to gardentime.tv.
William and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.